Hello again, Wrestling World. Welcome to the second episode of Leslie's Gorilla Position. I'm your host, Leslie Butterscotch, and today we are celebrating and honoring the 21-year anniversary of the April 10th, 2000 edition of WCW Monday Nitro, which took place live from the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Despite me mentioning the word Pepsi, make no mistake, this is not being sponsored by the Pepsi Cola Company. However, there is a paid promotion in today's show in the interest of full transparency. The April 10th edition of WCW Monday Nitro had been anticipated for a long time, as it was to be the first episode that featured Vince Russo working together with Eric Bischoff to try and turn the company around after having it been sullied by the horrors of Kevin Sullivan. All eyes were on WCW Monday Nitro in the very first segment when the whole roster was out in the arena being addressed by Russo and Bischoff. A key part of their era, one of the things that characterized it was shooting. And the shoot was on right from the beginning as we took a peek. No, we ripped apart the curtain and we took a look at the politics behind that curtain that were addressed on TV, and the separation was made between the old wrestlers who wouldn't get out of the way, the good old boys network, soon to be known as the Millionaires Club, and the hot young talent who had been held back for years, soon to be known as the New Blood. Another signal that this era was to be characterized by shooting was when Eric Bischoff shot on Sid Vicious. Another thing that this segment accomplished was stripping the titles from all of the current title holders, including Sid Vicious, who is the reigning WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Early in the segment, Eric Bischoff asked Sid, and I quote, "What's up, Sid? No softball game," which was a low blow and a reference to the real world, where Sid had allegedly missed some time wrestling due to his participation in a softball league. This would come back later in the segment when Eric Bischoff said, "What's the matter, Sid? Can't find your scissors." The crowd was stunned into silence that Eric Bischoff would go to such a low place. But because of the silence, Eric Bischoff repeated the line, "What's the matter, Sid? Can't find your scissors," which is, of course, a reference to the time that he stabbed Arn Anderson with scissors over 20 times in a particularly bloody real-life incident. However, the crowd still did not respond. But I want to clarify something, that it wasn't because the crowd didn't understand the obscure reference. It was because they were so shocked to have that line blurred, to take that look behind that curtain. The episode continued. It was light on wrestling and heavy on angles, but here are the results of the wrestling matches. In the first match in the WCW World Heavyweight Title Tournament, Diamond Dallas Page defeated the Total Package Lex Luger in 4 minutes and 23 seconds. The second match in the first round, Sid defeated Sid Vicious by countout in 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Sid had been chokeslammed through a table by the wall and could not answer the 10 count. Jeff Jarrett and Curt Hennig received a bye in the tournament. Jeff Jarrett defeated Curt Hennig in 4 minutes and 28 seconds and would go on to the finals at WCW Spring Stampede. And in the final match in the semifinal tournament, Diamond Dallas Page defeated Sting in 3 minutes, 42 seconds. There was one other official match. Ric Flair defeated Shane Douglas, who was returning to WCW for the first time in years, by disqualification in 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Shane Douglas's return was notable, as was the debut of Mike Awesome attacking Kevin Nash and saying how he came to WCW, where he was previously the reigning ECW World Heavyweight Champion. He jumped ship because he believed in the opportunity that he could earn from Russo and Bischoff, to show how much hype there was surrounding this episode. There is another unofficial match that happened, and we'll get into that right now as we talk about the quarter-hour rating breakdown. That first quarter hour, the segment with Russo and Bischoff and the entire roster, earned a 3.1. The very next segment earned a 3.6, which tells me that people were calling their friends. They were saying, grab that clicker. Tune into TNT. Things are changing. And that trend continued. The next segment earned a 3.7, and the final segment earned a 3.9. Of note about that final segment from the first hour, featured Billy Kidman and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan had said in an interview with WCW magazine that Billy Kidman could not sell out a flea market. Hulk Hogan later claimed that he said this trying to set up an angle between them, which no one believed. However, Vince Russo turned this into an actual angle and had Billy Kidman attack Hulk Hogan, beat him with a chair, bloody him, and pin him as Eric Bischoff counted 1, 2, 3. Things in professional wrestling would never be the same as the shoots continued happening, bleeding into the storylines from real life. The overall rating for the night was a 3.1. When Nitro ran opposed to Raw, the ratings unfortunately did drop. However, the show finished strong and made some incredible strides over the Kevin Sullivan era in terms of ratings, which is not surprising because Vince Russo is the man who delivered the highest rated segment in professional wrestling history with the This Is Your Life segment, featuring Mankind and The Rock. Now it is this moment where we take a look at the IMDb page for Roll Call. Roll Call for what they have called Season 5, Episode 30. Cast, Tony Schiavone. Additional crew, Ernie Watts, Technical Manager. Writing credits, Vince Russo. While the page is a little bit sparse, it does remind me of our new segment, Omissions and Retractions. In Episode 1, I neglected to mention 2 credits during Roll Call. One of those credits was Ernie Watts, Additional Crew, Technical Manager. And the other was Camera and Electrical Department, Eric Lacasse, Steadicam Operator. And speaking of Episode 1, it is at this moment I wish to reach into our viewer mailbag, since we had such a positive response to the first episode. This is replying to a comment from Karen Robertson. I'm sorry. Retraction. Karen Robertson. Karen wrote 0:46, which is a timestamp. And I clicked on that timestamp and it brought me to our tribute, our moment of silence for the fallen warriors of WCW. And Karen, I have omitted someone indeed. I've omitted the Wall, Jerry Toot. So I apologize to the Toot family for that. And Karen, thank you for pointing that out. Karen also said, VOM, period, GEN, period, IN, which I gotta say, Karen, made my day with this clever anagram for venoming. Venom, of course, being a reference to Vic Venom, known for the column Vic Venom's The Bite in WWF Magazine. Vic Venom, for those unaware, is the nom de plume of Vince Russo. So Karen, I really appreciate that. I will send you a Leslie's Gorilla Position t-shirt, graphic pending. And speaking of Vince Russo, I have been going back in my tape catalog, and I've been categorizing all of the segments year by year, including looking at WWF Raw. And some nights I set the timer wrong. Some nights I just let the VCR continue recording. And on those nights, when I know I'm looking at those tapes, I decide that I'm going to pop a Blue Chew. Because I know in a few hours, when I'm sitting there holding that clicker, I have a little special treat for Rhonda Shear's Up All Night. And thanks to Blue Chew, I too will be up all night. And that is all we have for today's Leslie's Gorilla Position. Our next episode will be looking at April 26th, 2000, and we'll take a deep dive into a very particular title change which happened that day and shook the world of sports entertainment and put Vince Russo on the radar of the larger entertainment world, giving him an opportunity to transcend wrestling. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next episode.